Hi, welcome back to the Wedding Show. I am Shelley with Shelley Armstrong Events. Thanks for joining us and coming back. Our next guest today, we'd like to welcome another event planner. Yay! Some of my favorite people. Lori Cole with Lori Cole Events. So welcome to the show today.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Thanks for coming on. You know, there's one thing that people always say is you know, there's so much competition with other event coordinators. I'm like, no. It's okay. I love this. I love that there are good, qualified people to help brides and grooms, because not one single person or one company can take care of everybody who needs the help.
Because no, and you're always looking for friends in the event industry.
Absolutely, absolutely.
There's enough work for everyone.
There really is, so I love it. I love it. So tell me a little bit about your company and how you do your events and what you can do for brides.
Well, I've been doing events for a very long time, from weddings to corporate to fundraisers. I'm not even going to tell you how long, because that'll give away way too much.
I understand.
But my company does everything from full production down to day of coordinating. I even do some hourly coordinating. If brides get in trouble, we do some troubleshooting. Sometimes they're just looking for vendor referrals if maybe they can't find a vendor that meets their standards, or maybe not in their budget range. So I will do some hourly. By and far, most of my clients are full service. They just don't have time, as you would know.
Brides don't these days. I mean, they're working full time and trying to plan a wedding. I mean, to plan an average type wedding, you're looking at 200 to 250 hours. So put a price tag on that of what it would cost you to miss that much work, you know. And then you can see that wedding coordinators and planners are so worth the time. It really is.
And a lot of times it's not even just the hours, but they don't know what they don't know.
Right.
So they don't know the right questions to ask. And sometimes with vendors, I don't think they necessarily deliberately withhold information, but sometimes they just assume that the clients, the brides and grooms, know the answer.
Right.
And they really don't even know the question, so they don't know the answer either.
Right. Well, and it's so true that you mentioned that, because I think one of the biggest problems is that I see in the industry when brides come to me halfway through the process and they're like, help, we don't know what to do. It's basically our brides are not getting educated properly. Right. So another great reason for, you know, an event planner and a coordinator and a designer is because you need someone who's got your back at all times.
Absolutely, and a lot of times when I first meet with clients, or if I'm at a trade show or an expo, I'll get a lot of clients that say, oh, well, you know, I don't need a planner. I've already booked my photographer, my DJ, or we don't need a planner. Our venue has a coordinator.
Right.
And there's a huge difference between the level of service expectation, because a venue coordinator, and this isn't the same for everyone, but most times the venue coordinator is strictly there to hash out the venue details.
Exactly.
They're not that they're not looking out for the client's best interest, but their interest is taking care of their workload, not necessarily the bride and groom's workload.
Exactly, and that is never explained.
Never.
It's not written out, because I see those contracts. They're like, I don't need you for this because it's here. I'm like, okay, let's talk about that. You know, let's really talk about what that means. And again, it's educating the brides.
Absolutely, and a lot of times too, you know, I'll get the clients that I'll talk to them the first time, and they have most of maybe their vendor contracts booked, but first they really didn't review their contracts, and then they don't know what they don't know. To ask what's not written in the contract, and then they really don't know how to pull all the pieces together, which I'm sure you see that too. So they'll be like, well, I really want a backdrop there, but I don't know who's going to do that, and where am I going to get that from, and what time are they going to set up and break down, and those are all the kind of pieces that we take care of for them.
Absolutely. Well, and timing, and you touched on it big time, because, you know, the bride is so, she has everything that she wants sometimes. Oh, I have a backdrop. When is it coming in? Is it coming in before, after this or this? You know, and so there's so many different reasons why brides need your services. There really are. So let's talk a little bit about some of the types of events that you do. You said you do weddings as well as other corporate events and things like that?
We primarily do weddings. That's what I call my specialty. I love weddings. I would rather do weddings above all else. And we do a variety of services for weddings. So we do everything from the decor. We do candy and sweets buffets. I also have professional bar teams. And then as a special for our clients only, we offer floral services, and then we also offer event staffing, which
Oh,
I know
great.
Lynn was talking about. I get probably 5 or 6 calls a week of brides and grooms that have done a lot of DIY. Central Valley is really known for DIYing their wedding stuff.
Yes.
And they get a garage full of stuff going, and they haven't put any thought into who's delivering, setting up, or breaking down that stuff. So that is a bonus offering that we do for our planning clients. It's an additional thing that we can do for them.
Well, that's fantastic.
So,
That's really good. Well, and it's good that you offer that too, because a lot of people, I think, hire a coordinator thinking, oh, they'll just set it up. Maybe not so much. They've got a lot of other things to take care of. So, you can't just throw everything at your coordinator and say, okay, here.
it's one person. I'm one person unless we plan accordingly.
Unless you plan
If I know I
accordingly,
need to bring
right.
10 people to set up your garage full of stuff, I'll bring 10 people with me.
There you go.
So I always try to ask the right questions, and sometimes brides and mothers will get really irritated because as you know, the question list sometimes can get really long, and one question leads to another.
Right.
But we're there to make sure that there's no problems, things run smoothly, people are where they're supposed to be.
Right. Absolutely. Now, do you do ceremony assistance as well?
Yes, I actually one of my things, it's one of my pet peeves. I have a little small list of pet peeves, but I'm very active in the ceremony planning. Even if there's a minister involved, I'm not really the wording. Sometimes I'll help out. I'm sure you've had this too. A lot of people are having a friend get licensed to be an officiant.
Right.
And anyone can get a license to
Sure.
be an officiant, but not everyone is up to standard, and I will coach them. So
Oh, good.
help them, coach them if I have somebody that's new. I think that's a very important. The ceremony should have some meaning, and
It should be important. A lot of people kind of forget about those details. They really
Yes.
do. So it's good that you can offer that to the guests, or to the bride and groom, and to their officiant, their friend or uncle.
yeah.
It
Yes.
happens a lot. Well, it does. And I love the fact that I'm okay with the idea of having someone personal marry you.
Yes.
Because your marriage is very personal. Hello. And the ceremony should be as well. And so when someone knows you and they can give that personal input, I think it's very, I think it's lovely. It melts my heart. However, it needs to come across and be executed professionally.
It doesn't, and it needs to be rehearsed, and it needs to have some sincerity. And
Absolutely.
I've had officiants that are inexperienced get up there, and they're reading from cue cards. Well, usually it's their iPad, but they're reading
Right.
from cue cards, and it's very impersonal. Anybody could do that, and
Right.
and so I really rehearse that with them because the ceremony is really important to me. Like I said, one of my pet peeves that it needs to have a little bit of personality.
Sure. I agree. I agree 100%. It does. Well, and it'll also help the bride and groom be more comfortable with everything.
Yes.
If their officiant knows how to, again, execute what's needing
Yes.
to happen. So, good. Well, let's let everyone know how to find you. Do you have a website?
I do. It's www.loricoleevents.com. Also, the phone number I think is up there. It's 209-480-4668. I'm based in
Fantastic.
Turlock, but I travel all of California.
Oh, yeah.
So actively here down in the Fresno area, all the way up to Sacramento on regular basis.
Well, good, good. Well, again, there's so many brides and grooms here in the area, and they're always looking for great coordinators and planners. So that's really a good thing. So, and I know that we've had pictures running the whole time too. So I hope you got to look at some of those pictures and see some of Lori's work, and I'm sure that she'd be able to meet with you and talk about your wedding and how she can make it more personal for you, design, planning, and coordinating. So give Lori a call and schedule a meeting with her. Now, do you do consultations by phone? Do you meet?
I
How do you do that?
consultations, however is easiest for my client.
Okay.
I've actually do military weddings pretty regularly, and I've had clients that I've met with in person once, and the whole entire wedding has been planned on Skype.
Skype. Love it. Don't you love Skype?
Yes, on Skype, and I see them a couple days before the wedding, and ta-da!
I know, it's fun. That first, I like when we've done Skype meetings, and then our first meeting is like a couple days before the wedding. It's like, I miss you, I love you, just getting to hug them and touch them and know that they're they're real, not just on a screen.
And it's a little nerve-wracking too, because on Skype sometimes you don't pick up on that personal vibe like you always do when you're in person, and so when they show up after you've only had the contact on Skype, it's really a little nerve-wracking for me at first, because you kind of doubt yourself a little bit, or I do,
sure.
think, I hope I did what they really wanted.
Right. No, it's difficult. It's difficult. So, but it's important that you're able to do that. And so I'm glad that you also have that kind of experience to offer everybody.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
fantastic.
you.
Well, great. All right. So again, give Lori Cole at Lori Cole Events a call, schedule to talk with her, and let her come and help you with your wedding planning. So, all right, stay tuned. We'll be right back.